What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, and today is actually a very special day on the channel because I am taking delivery of my dream car, a BMW M2 Competition. This has actually been going on behind the scenes with me trying to purchase this car for I'd say roughly the last 6 weeks now. Finding one in the spec that I wanted, that was in pretty good condition at the right price has been extremely difficult, given that this car is somewhat rare in the US, and with the market being crazy, things go really quick. So finding the exact right one has been a challenge. I finalized my purchase of this car roughly, it's been 2 weeks ago now. The car is actually located in Orlando. They're shipping up here to me in Kansas City, which is about a 1,200 mile trip. So I've been waiting, impatiently for it. But today is the day that it finally arrives. If you saw my previous video, I've traded in my wife's X5 for that, so that's going away. Now I know what you're going to say, Matt. You traded in your wife's family SUV for a sports car. What the heck, man? Don't worry, I'm not leaving her in the lurch. I've actually ordered her another SUV that she's very excited about. Ordered that roughly 4 weeks ago. Their time frame was about 8 to 10 weeks, so hopefully that should be here fairly soon, but also look for that coming onto the channel fairly soon. So going back to the M2 Competition, this has been my dream car since these were released back in 2019. If you're not aware of the difference between the original M2 and the M2 Competition, they made several upgrades, including adding the engine from the previous generation, M3 and M4, into the M2, which makes it a heavier car, but also bumps up the power from, I believe the original M2 was like 365 horsepower. This comes in right around 405. So it's a very small, fun car. If you think about modern BMWs, they're going bigger cars, more luxury, a lot of electronics and technology and stuff, which is great. But what I wanted in this car is really a driver-focused car. Looking at other options that you would say was a driver-focused car, you could look at Corvette, you could look at Cayman. Where this is really nice is it also has a back seat. So if the plan isn't for this to be a primary vehicle, but if I want to take the family around in it, I have that option, which is nice. So I've actually wanted to own an M car for as long as I can remember. I just love the sound of the exhaust and all the performance and cool M goodies you get with an M car. So this is really the culmination of a dream come true with taking delivery of this car today. So that's going to wrap things up for an info. I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead to when the delivery driver shows up here in the next couple of hours. But if you want more of the story of how I came to purchase this car and kind of the story behind it, I will save that for later in the video. But right now I just want to get to introducing my new BMW M2 Competition. Alright guys, as you can see, I'm sitting here in the M2. I've actually had this car for a few days now. Just sitting in it is still just so surreal. It's one of those things where this car has just been, in my head for, at least a couple of years now. And now to actually own it, I don't think is still like fully set in that this is real life. So the reason it's taken me a few days to get to film the rest of this video is I've had a few things I've had to do. One of the things is I wanted to take this in to get like a pre-purchase inspection done with a local BMW dealership. Everything checked out good. It's in really good shape. So what I figure I do now is just go over the spec of exactly what I got, and then kind of go into how I came to own this BMW M2 Competition. All right, so there's a lot of construction going on, so if you guys hear that in the background, I apologize. But this is my 2020 BMW M2 Competition. I bought it used with about 10,500 miles on it. So my spec comes equipped with the dual clutch transmission. You can also get it in a manual, but I specifically wanted the dual clutch. So I've actually been searching for this. In total, it was probably over a 6-week period. I tried working with a local BMW dealership, but these are kind of hard to find, especially now that you can't order them new anymore, because they've released the new 2 Series, but they have not released the new M2 yet. It's one of those cars that right now you just can't get an allocation to order it from the factory. So it was a little hard to find exactly the spec I wanted. So looking at the front here, you can tell this is an M2 Competition because compared to the regular M2, this has a much more aggressive grille. Also, I think you can probably option it in the M2, but I don't think standard. It comes with the black grille and kind of the blacked out accents all around the car. So I love just how low this thing sits, and then you see down the side here, just the really aggressive body lines that you get in this car. You can see in the back how far that back tire sticks out. It really helps with the grip of this car, and it gives it a really, really aggressive look, I think. So like I said, finding a dual clutch was challenging, but I actually ended up buying this one from Vroom, which is an online dealership. Now, I've never purchased a car online before, and my transaction with them actually ended up being really smooth despite my concerns. And I've seen a lot of just like Vroom horror stories on YouTube and online while I was doing some research on them. So I'm definitely going to put out a video just talking about how that overall experience with Vroom went, because my experience was they're actually really good and the whole transaction went really smooth. And just even price-wise, they really beat everyone out because if you saw I traded in my X5, they offered me several $1,000s more than really any other dealership offered for the X5. I'm not positive they had this priced right because just looking at the other dual clutch versions that I found, this was priced several thousand below any of those, and it has relatively low miles. So ended up getting a really good deal despite the market on this, and I'm very, very happy with the end result. My only real concern was, buying the car sight unseen, just kind of what condition it would be in. That's why I took it to the local BMW dealership to get it inspected and checked out. They just did kind of a general inspection to look for kind of wear and tear and stuff. And they said just judging by the condition and, especially the tires, that it really hadn't been driven all that hard. So I think I really lucked out as far as, previous owners go. The only real issue with it is you probably can't see too well in the sunlight. It looks pretty clean, but the paint actually needs a little bit of work. It just kind of looks like they've, taken it through car washes and stuff. So, but that's something I can easily fix. Just rub your fingers over it. It's definitely not smooth. You can definitely tell there's a layer of stuff on there. So I'm going to get this cleaned up, and I got a polisher to kind of go over the swirl marks and take those out. So I'll be doing a video on that soon. So be on the lookout for that. So back to the spec, what else is this option with? So it has the darker color wheels. I think you can get these in more of a chrome color too, but this would have been the color I would have picked from the factory. Interior wise, it came with the sunroof, which was not a necessity for me, but where I kind of record these cars on YouTube, it's kind of nice to have that, so I can use a suction cup to put a GoPro or a phone up there. So that's nice. The other option, and most of these come option with blue stitching. This is actually in orange, and it's kind of all throughout the cabin of the interior, and it actually looks really good. It kind of matches the orange with my Gladiator, so I'm glad it came with spec'd with that one. Other ways to tell this is a M2 Competition just from the regular M2. You've got M2 Competition on the door sills here. It also has an M2 Competition badge on the back. This has a swooped side view mirrors from the M3 CS, which the regular M2 does not. But the biggest difference is the engine. I'm going to show you guys this because I think it's really cool. So you can see it's got a lot of carbon fiber in the engine bay. This actually has the same engine as the M3 and M4 of the previous generation, which crammed into this tiny little car actually makes this a lot of fun. So this actually comes rated from the factory at 405 horsepower, which is not a huge number by today's standards, but packed into a tiny little car like this makes this feel, actually pretty powerful for its size. And just kind of judging from BMW's history with power rating is probably a little bit underrated, and it definitely feels that way to me. So coming to the interior, you can see actually plenty of room for a booster seat back there. Now I don't think I can actually fit an infant carrier. For my 3-year-old, that works really well back there, and he has plenty of leg room. You can see this actually has an all-digital gauge. The infotainment comes with Apple CarPlay. You can see, like I said, you've got these orange and Alcantara accents all throughout the cabin. It's got this matte carbon fiber, which I really like. This is the dual clutch transmission. It's got these really nice pedals on the steering wheel, which they're probably the most premium pedals I've felt in a car, and the just like tactile feel you get from clicking these is really satisfying. Alright, well that's going to wrap things up for today's video. I just wanted to introduce you guys to my new car. I plan to make a lot of content on this coming very soon. Like I said, I'm about to start detailing this. I'm going to document some of that and get that up in a video. I'm also going to do a video very soon of just kind of like first driving impressions and kind of how it feels out on the road. Just to give you an idea of what one of these is like. But I mean, overall, this is really like a dream come true, and I'm so excited to have this car and so excited to share it with you guys on the channel. So as always, really appreciate you guys watching, and I will catch you in the next video.